Hey guys, it's Nate, aka TheFutAccountant. Welcome back to the channel. Fantasy FC just got a little more interesting. Yesterday, EA announced a never-before-seen type of content that'll be dropping in-game this weekend. FC 26 is collabing with Fantasy Premier League to bring us a new type of live and upgrading card. But this is a totally new concept, and today we're going to explain everything. How do you get these cards? How do these cards upgrade? And even who might be the best choices out of the 10 players that we get to pick from for the +5 overall upgrade that each of these players could potentially be getting next week. It's a big deal. We got to talk about it. Plus, we have a few more leaks for fantasy team number 2 with official stats for players like Florian Wirtz and Victor Gyökeres. And today's the last day of fantasy team number 1, and there's still one SBC that we haven't had yet. I don't expect big content for today, but we're going to talk about that and the market. We got to keep watching prices, guys, because fantasy team 1 keeps going up and they go out of packs tomorrow. Let's discuss. If you're excited for this one, drop a thumbs up on the video, hype the video, and subscribe if you are new. Now let's get started by looking back at yesterday's content on Wednesday, which was a decently slow day, I guess you'll call it. Decent because there was a couple good parts of content, but slow overall, including this brand new team of the week. You know the team of the week is poor when there's only one card that is not fodder price in this team. Yes, that's correct, guys. These cards have been in packs for 12 hours, and Eze is the only card who's not 14 or 15,000 coins, which is the price of informs on the market. Eze's card, 2 playstyle pluses, does look very good, maybe for some evos down the line, but there's 2 players in this team that I think actually will be good investments this weekend because of evos, and that would be Nico O'Reilly with his left mid card, who can also play left wing, center mid, and left back with quick step plus. He's still 17,000 coins, I guess. He's the second most expensive player in this team of the week, but he's probably going to be 12 or 13k during the weekend. I think that is a must buy at some point in the weekend. Put it in your club, put it in your transfer list, wait a couple of weeks, maybe a month. That card might be 25k for an evo. You might double your money. Same thing with Diego Moreira, maybe a lesser known player, but 95 pace with right mid, right wing, left mid, and left back with rapid plus. That has future evo potential written all over it. So I think those are 2 cards that you gotta stock in your club at least some point this weekend when informs probably drop back down a little bit. Now let's look through the rest of yesterday's content on Wednesday. In SBCs, we just had 2 new SBCs. UCL marquee matchups 2, which does give you tradable packs back for completing some easy challenges for the UCL games that took place yesterday. A Prime Electrum Players pack is the reward there. Nothing super crazy. And the bigger SBC from yesterday, the 88 plus campaign mix player pick, of course, for the first time with team of the year honorable mention player cards in this. And actually, guys, there was a lot of people doing these yesterday and getting those team of the year honorable mention players, which is kind of odd. Usually when EA add a new promo into a campaign player pick like this, those are still like the hardest cards to get, the most recent ones. A lot of people yesterday were hitting some of the lower to middle tier honorable mentions, but a couple guys in the chat did pack Diani, a couple guys packed some other couple 100,000 coin team of the year honorable mentions from this as well, and there were some decent pulls. It is a fun SBC to do, but every single time that EA has released this 88 plus campaign pick since back in early January when it was just an 85 and an 86 rated squad, I just haven't wanted to do it. With the 87 squad in here and 3 squads in total making this 117k, it just seems too expensive to me. I know that it's a fun one. It's one that you log on to the game and just kind of like have a little bit of a risk, have a little bit of a gamble. You could get something pretty sick from this, and it's fun. I totally get that, but I'm still working on player SBCs like Cancelo, the Henry and the Vieira player pick, some of the other Fantasy FC live cards that can get upgrades. I feel like it's more worth it to do an SBC like that than to just send all your fodder into a bit of a risky player pick like this. And I just think the price is too much for me too. If it was just an 85 and 86 rated squad like these campaign picks used to be, I would probably do it. But since it's more expensive, I am going to skip it. But we got to talk about fodder because that SBC maybe made fodder move up a little bit. 85s, 86s, 87s, and 88s have all just slightly crept up in price, and I think today is going to be a good time to sell those. Take a look at 85s right now. They're at about 2,500 coins. couple of them hit 3,000 yesterday at the content drop. You should be seeing 85s peak today, and then maybe tomorrow after content as well, they could peak a little bit more. But I would look to sell most of your fodder. If you invested earlier on in the week when we were shouting out 85s at 1.7K, they're now going to go to 3K most likely again today, or 88s were below 7. I think they're now 8,500 coins. That's a nice rise there. 87s are up at 5.5 to almost 6,000 coins. Probably time to start selling those fodder cards, of course, before the big supply from Weekend League rewards comes in on Friday night. Same thing with Team of the Weeks. Right now, guys, Team of the Weeks are about 14,000 coins on the market, and every single day they've been going to about 15K at the content drop with the refreshing SBCs that we get just about every single day. I didn't get a whole lot of sales yesterday. I was listing mine right around 16,000 coins, but I think this is another type of investment that still made a decent amount of coins during the week. I still have a bunch of Team of the Weeks here, a couple pages worth on my transfer list. I'll probably be trying to sell these for about 15 to 16K again today. Couple thousand coins a card isn't crazy at all, but it's at least easy money for just buying cards and then relisting them during the midweek when Team of the Weeks do usually go up. But of course, those Team of the Weeks should drop again late Friday night with Weekend League supply. So you'll want to get out of those and get your coins ready for some other trades and investments before those prices drop. Now, the last part of yesterday's content that we got to talk about is a pretty decent Evo, but I have some questions. First, let's look at the Evo. Calm and collected, repeatable 21 times. Yet again, it is max 86, but it gives +4 balance and composure. Balance going to 91 and composure going to 90. I find this is a fun Evo. It doesn't boost the overall of the card, and it helps fix the stats on a player that could be very low otherwise, right? I like these Evos that are 10, 20 plus times repeatable, giving us the chance to kind of fix a card's stats, right? The perfect card for that Evo for me is this Miles Robinson. He has 39 balance. His composure is already at 90. Great. I'm going to put this Evo on this Miles Robinson card as many times as I possibly can to get his balance up to a really usable level. Kind of reminds me of Varane, how his balance was always really bad on his cards in Ultimate Team. But, you know, this is a nice one. Repeatable 21 times. But the question that I have with this is, why don't they let us boost the stats like acceleration or agility or reactions, right? We get balance and composure. This is the second time that both balance and composure have been able to be boosted in game. Why not strength? Why not aggression? Why not interceptions? It's kind of like they're trying to pick the most mid stats on these cards so that we don't create like super crazy cards through those Evos. But I think I really enjoy those evolutions that are 10, 20 times repeatable, like we still have with the Just Shoot and the Running Workout evolutions that are still available. Like, you know, I like the Just Shoot Evo. I mean, that one's a bit different because that's got more stuff going on there, the Running Workout Evo. But Just Shoot, repeatable 22 more times, +3 finishing and volleys. You know, that might be one of the best kind of specific stat boost Evos we've had, finishing being a part of it. Let us boost reactions. Let us boost agility, and then we'd be cooking with those Evos EA. So that one's nice, but could be nicer. Now, yesterday, as we kind of said, it was a bit of a slower day on content. It's also a bit of a slower day on the market. I just picked up 2 Bruno Fernandes on Snipe, 1.45 and 1.47. For some reason, he was listed at 1.5 mil, and then 2 people undercut there, and I was like, scoop, gotta buy that. But for the most part, fantasy cards are just going higher. Joao Felix is 3 million coins. Salma Parluelo, 1.7 million coins for her card right now. Douglas Luiz is still doing good at 350. Semenyo right now is at 1.3, but he was above 1.3 mil multiple times yesterday. You can see here up to 1.35. He was just up at 1.39 a couple hours ago. Most of the fantasy cards just keep slowly rising. Jill Scott's almost 500K. What a rise for her. Brolin is 64,000 coins as well. If you invested in these, you're still looking good. I still have my investments in the Lewandowski. The Undav is cooked. He is, honestly, Undav is a good example of what could happen if overinvestment happens on a player who's expected to get upgrades or maybe even has already earned upgrades, but then the upgrades don't pan out very well. This is kind of what could happen later on this weekend if maybe a player like Lewandowski or a player like Cole Palmer doesn't perform, or their club doesn't perform to what they're expected to do for whatever matchup they have this weekend. You could see some price drop. So once again, I'm going to say be careful with these cards. Don't buy them now. What I would tell you to do is just watch their rise, and when they get to a point where you think, you know what, that's high enough for me, I'm going to take the cash, I would say to sell on the hype and take the cash before the games that are played this weekend, just to be the safest. And I think we'll have another buying window to buy these Team 1 cards again. Even after they go out of packs, I think there will be opportunities to buy them a little bit later on. So that's kind of what I wanted to mention with those Fantasy Team 1 cards once again, but kind of the opportunity to buy them has gone away. The opportunity to sell them soon into the hype is incoming. The rest of the market yesterday was really slow as well. And I should mention this, guys, if you want to just make some easy coins, get on bids. All you got to do is go to Footbin and look at price fluctuations. Like, that's my favorite way to trade. But informs that are not in packs anymore, get on bids for those. Instead of bidding on informs that are in packs, like this Haji Wright just was, or Kufal from the last Team of the Week, 88 Benzema, multiple Team of the Weeks ago. I bought him yesterday for 14,000 coins because he was just a inform that was sliding through, about to go unbid on at a minimum price. Just go and bid on informs. Like, honestly, you go look at informs for 14,000 coins and find cards that are not in the current Team of the Week and just check their prices on Footbin on the fly. You might find, like I did as well, I didn't win the card, but I saw a inform Modric. That's from one of the earliest Team of the Weeks of the year. His card was about to expire with like a very low bid on it. He sells for like 50, 60,000 coins, and I almost won him on bid for 40K, and then the guy kept bidding and I didn't win it. But that's another really easy way to make coins right now, is just getting on bids, specifically on bids for informs, looking for those older promo cards. So slower day on the market, still ways to profit though. Now, what wasn't slow was the news, and that's what we really got to talk about in today's video, guys. We are getting a new type of live and upgrading card, right? Fantasy FC is all about the live cards. EA's like, we got to throw another type of live card into the mix. A really cool concept was announced yesterday, combining Ultimate Team and Fantasy Premier League. That's right, like the FPL that so many of you guys probably play. Now, if you don't know what FPL is, I do want to give you a quick rundown. It's basically pick a team inside of a budget of 11 players with a couple on the bench, and however well those players play, they get points, and they get all added up into your total score, which becomes your FPL score for your team each match week. I'm absolutely terrible at FPL. You can rate my team here if you guys play. I barely pay attention, and I barely change out the players. It's a problem. But this is a very, very popular game. If you're from America, you know what fantasy football is. Like for American football, it's very similar to that. The player's performance in real life correlates to how many points they get in the Fantasy Premier League. And this is going to be combined with real card upgrades inside of FC26. There are 10 cards that EA are adding as Fantasy FC FPL cards that we get to choose from this weekend. Aronson, Alex Jimenez, Dewsbury Hall, Amad Diallo, Raul Jimenez, Kirkes Trossard, Matisse Tel, Robert Sanchez, and Mateus Nunez. We are going to choose 2 of these 10 players, and then the games that are happening next week between March 3rd and March 5th, however well each one of these players plays, will directly determine how much their card gets upgraded in game. Now, how do we get these cards? Are they given out for free? Unfortunately, they're not given out for free, right? We love free things. Even some of these leaks kind of sounded like they might be a free card giveaway sort of thing from EA, but that's not quite it. It's the next thing closest to free. Guys, these cards come out via an objective on Saturday. EA says here, how do I receive the Fantasy FC Live player? You play in the new Flash Rush event. Pause. It's not as bad as it sounds. Flash Rush event available the February 28th through March 3rd with a player of the club of the player you wish to select. So the example is, if you want to get Matisse Tel, which I will, even though I don't think he's going to get upgrades, and we'll talk about the best players to choose in a second. If you want to get Matisse Tel, you need to play a game in the Rush event with any player from Tottenham Hotspur's Men's team. Okay, that's really easy. So if you're telling me that I just have to go and play 2 games, one game with a Spurs player for Tell and another game with a Leeds player to get Brendan Aronson, and I get to take both of those cards from objectives and wait for the games to see how much they upgrade, that's really easy. That's the next closest thing to free. That's literally 10 minutes of playing Rush, even though it is a frustrating game mode sometimes, to get 2 live and upgrading cards. That's really, really easy, right? You can earn a maximum of 2 cards before the objective group becomes locked. So Saturday, play the new Rush event with a player from the club that you want to unlock, and boom, you're good to go. Now, this is why there's some strategy with this. The upgrades are pretty good, okay? Here's how the upgrades are breaking down. 0 to 1 point by FPL scoring, right? It all depends. Like we said, if Amad Diallo does not have a good game, let's say he gets 0 or 1 fantasy Premier League points, and the scoring table is down here below. You can see how the scoring kind of works here on the EA website. I'll leave this link down below in the description. If he gets 0 or 1 points, he still gets a +1 overall and an additional roll ++. 2 to 3 points gets a +2 in rolls. 4 to 5 points gets a +3 in rolls and a second playstyle plus and a base playstyle. 6 or 7 points gets a +4 overall with a second PS plus and 2 base playstyles as well. And 8 points, this is what we're all shooting for. I hope every single one of these players gets 8+ points this week, which would be pretty difficult, but if it happens, that'd be insane. 8+ points gives a +5 overall, all roll pluses, a second playstyle plus, 2 base playstyles, and a 5-star weak foot or skill moves. That is a huge boost for whoever is able to get 8+ points. And again, 8+ points is going to be pretty hard to get. That's where the strategy comes in. You take a look at the list of players here and how they're performing in real life. I actually started to go around Twitter and started to look up some guys who are very, in the weeds, if you will, in the know of FPL. I found a guy here called FPL Harry. He's got 200,000 subscribers on YouTube talking about Fantasy Premier League. He probably knows what's up, right? He was saying that from the list of players here, he shouts that Dewsbury Hall, Alex Jimenez, and Mateus Nunez would be his top 3 players with the best chance to score the most points and get the biggest upgrades from these games. Now, also, we took to AI. There's a website called Fantasy Football Hub, and this kind of gives you predictions on how they think the players are going to score based on the matchups and how well that player has been performing, the likelihood of that player to start and to play well versus their matchup and their opponent. Dewsbury Hall is at the top of the list with 4.9 projected points. Mateus Nunez at 4.7, Aronson at 4.6, Jimenez, Trossard, and Kirkes all at 4.4 and 4.1. So you don't have to choose who you think is going to get the best upgrade. You can choose your favorite club or a player from your favorite nation, which is what I'm doing. I'm going to take Matisse Tell and Brendan Aronson because you know what? Matisse Tell, if he doesn't get upgrades, it's fine. I can probably still evo him. Brendan Aronson, he might score a goal, and that would give him a lot of points, which would then get him maybe the 8-point upgrade. So that's how you can look at this. Either way, you're just going to pick the card that you like and a player you like, or you're going to pick a card for the potential upgrades there. If you want to deep dive into a lot more of the scores, into the form of the players and the matchup, who they're playing against, I would go check out guys like FPL Harry here and just start learning about FPL a bit more if you want to really dive into that. But that's kind of how this whole situation is going to work. Now, I'd also love to know how fast these cards are going to get upgraded. It says the matches, of course, are happening from March 3rd to March 5th, but these permanent upgrades, it doesn't say how long it's going to take for them to actually get added to the cards. Hopefully, it doesn't take long. And the last thing that we have to note is these are not official stats for these players, right? That big +5 overall upgrade is a huge deal. I think 87 is a good guess for what the player stats could be on these cards that we unlock from objectives, but it is not known for sure. Again, like if these cards start at 85 rated, they could go up to 90, but if they start at 85 and let's say like Matisse Tell doesn't play or gets subbed on for Spurs and only scores 1 point against Crystal Palace, well, maybe he'd go from an 85 to an 86. Well, that'd be fine for evolution. So I think there's a silver lining here that if your player does not perform well, they could end up still being a good card and worth taking from this objective. But watch out for the leaks today. I'm sure we're going to see some more news on the official stats for these cards. They're all going to have 1 playstyle plus to begin with too, because of course the rewards here say giving a second playstyle plus. So they're all going to have one playstyle plus and be, I would imagine, at least 85 rated before we see upgrades happen for them. So that's the whole new situation with FPL and FC26. If you have more questions and you want to deep dive into that information more, make sure you check in the description. I'll post that EA Sports link there, and let me know who you think you're going to choose out of all those players that have been listed. Now, we have a couple more leaks to look at from Fantasy FC Team Number 2. These are cards coming into packs tomorrow on Friday. This card looks like a problem. Adama Traore is always meta. He's super fast. He has rapid, which is better than quick step in my opinion, and low driven with the 90 physical. I want to see how much this card costs in the market, and I want to see what playstyles he has. And this is a live card. Now, what are the chances of upgrades? Maybe not the best, but that's a really interesting card coming into packs tomorrow with Team 2. And we have some official stats for the big boys in this team. Arda Güler, incisive in Tech Plus. Very good looking stats there for him. Victor Gyökeres with quick step and low driven and 95 physical. That card looks pretty good as well. Probably going to be very expensive as a 92 rated and expected to get as many upgrades as possible with Arsenal being in the position in league where they're in. Verts also has incisive in tech with 94 dribble, 92 rated there. Oscar Bob is no longer at Manchester City. He's at Fulham. Learned that on stream yesterday. And he is only 87 rated with one playstyle plus, but a very good card potentially for evolutions. Chawinga looks very meta, but is very low in the passing stat category. Rapid and low driven plus for her. And then Conor Gallagher from Spurs. This is his back-to-back years. He had one last year as well, a Fantasy FC card. Back-to-back years with a live card. Same playstyle plus as his last year as well. And that is his card. Actually looks pretty crazy. But again, as a Spurs fan, I can even say this myself. What upgrades are we expecting for that card there? So those are the players coming in packs for Team 2. There's going to be more leaks, of course, today. Here's a list of objectives coming and SBC players coming for Team 2. Forlan could be good. I mean, we'll say it that way. Forlan could be pretty good. I know that R9 is taking over right now as the best striker in the game. Anton looks decent. You know, these are not official stats. I'm just kind of going off of what the cards could look like. I bet Forlan would have finesse instead of low driven. That'd be my guess. But there's going to be official stats leaked for these cards, I would imagine, pretty soon. Raheem Sterling is getting a promo card via SBC. Ruggeri, kind of an early FC26 legend with that Squad Foundations pick. Kochu, you know, Edward. They could be decent. They could be decent, but it doesn't look anything crazy like for the upcoming Promo Friday content. The other thing that we have not had any leaks about yet is the Evo. But guys, I have to guess. This is just using reasoning from the last couple of Evos that we've had. During Knockout Royalty, we had a really good midfielder Evo, right? That gave us the incisive and Tiki Taka plus up to 2 playstyles. This last Friday, for the first week of Fantasy, we had the striker Evo, right? The Fantasy FC path. That's why I've got these 2 Micah Richards right here. I think we're going to get a defender sort of Evo. I don't know if it's a right back Evo, left back Evo, or center back, but if I had to guess what the big evolution would be this Friday, tomorrow, I would guess it to be a defender Evo. So that's just a guess. Watch out for leaks. I'm sure there's going to be some more news and information on what Evo that we could be getting this weekend. And the last leak I want to post or talk about here that was posted was some news about Foot Birthday. And I know that's really the next promo that we're looking forward to. Foot Sheriff mentioned yesterday that Foot Birthday has a crazy new concept. And I think him using this emoji right there, the test tube emoji, means it's something related to evolutions. So that's going to be leaked, I'm sure, pretty soon. That could impact the market a little bit, like we were talking about in yesterday's video. Prices have been falling. That could impact price of the fantasy cards a little bit too, but we do not know what that is yet. So just know there is something coming for Foot Birthday. We just don't exactly know what it is yet. Now, let's end off the video today by looking at content today on Thursday. There's still one SBC player that we haven't had yet, and it's Tonali. So Newcastle fans, maybe your Tonali is going to be dropping today. Since he was leaked to be a part of Team 1, I would imagine he would have to be today. I'm still very curious to know how expensive he's going to be and how juiced his card is going to be as well. So keep a close eye out for that. Other than that, Thursdays give us marquee matchups and probably not a whole lot else. Good luck if you're opening your division rivals rewards today. I have completely foregone division rivals because I've been playing the league. We're cooking in the league somehow. We are 12-3 at the moment. It's been a really good run for us here. We're going to try and see if we can get, I'm not thinking I'm going to get 20 wins, but if I can get 18 and get that finesse plus, I would be super duper happy. So we're going to do the last 9 games or close to it today on stream. So if you want to come in and check that out, make sure you do so. The Twitch link is down below in the description. Of course, you can come back here to YouTube as well. The last thing actually I should mention for today's content would be hopefully some SP, because your boy is level 16 right now. I know I'm behind, but I would imagine we get some catch up SP today, since there is now 2 weeks left in this season pass. I know some people are already done and I'm kind of behind, right? But there's 2 weeks left. This is usually where EA start kicking the SP out and releasing a bunch of it. So I would expect that to continue today as well. But that's going to be the video for me today. If you did enjoy and if it helped you out at all, drop a thumbs up on this one. Hype the video if you can. Comment down below if you have any questions and subscribe if you're new. And I'll see you guys in the stream today. It's been Nate the FutAccountant there. Peace out.